I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Ukraine. At the ripe old age of 62, I was sent to Lugansk, Ukraine, the area that Putin stole in 2014. And I talk to you from the perspective of an American who didn't know much about Ukraine until she went to Eastern Europe. All I knew were the lovely Easter eggs that were presented to us by our Ukrainian maid in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And in Pittsburgh, where I grew up, we had a huge diaspora of Ukrainians who had left either from the famine in the 30s or the War of Dignity later in 2014. But we had a large Ukrainian community. When I was sent to Ukraine, I was fascinated and I learned more than I ever thought I would about a country that is wonderful, it's lovely, it's got marvelous people, it is entertaining. I ended up working with people with disabilities, and you do not want to be a disabled person in the post-Soviet world. And my job as a Peace Corps volunteer was to bring what we in this country and what Europeans do to help their disabled citizens. I was a Peace Corps volunteer assigned to work with a group advocating for people with disabilities. What I learned about Ukrainian schools, what I learned about how they treat people in the post-Soviet era was unbelievable, and Peace Corps volunteers gave their all to show Ukrainians how we work, how we do, and what they should expect. And I still hear from all my friends in Ukraine. I worried about my disabled friends because when Putin stole our region in 2014, most of my friends had no way of getting out. No cars, no access to transportation. They were wheelchairs only. But they made it to Kyiv, and now they are supporting the refugees leaving Kyiv and getting to Lviv and on to Poland. Our Peace Corps staff, you should be really proud. For those of you that support Peace Corps, be proud that the Peace Corps staff in Ukraine is still there working with USAID, providing humanitarian information, sources that I can pass on for where to send help, where to donate, where to send goods. That even though the Peace Corps is not in Ukraine right now, we are still part of Ukraine. We love them. I have my sign. There were 3,500 of us that served. My friend Miley was in the western side. I was in the eastern side. Thank you for letting me say a few words, but Ukraine is a wonderful country. Its borders should be secure, and they should keep what is theirs, theirs.
Hi, everybody. I don't have anything really prepared to say. I just wanted to tell you a little bit about my perspective. My family is Ukrainian. I'm first generation. Both of my parents were born there in Western Ukraine. And we're part of the big exodus during the Second World War. They were able to escape basically during that wartime and move to Europe and subsequently to the U.S. where I was born. But like much of the diaspora that we just heard about in Pittsburgh, there were many cities in the mainland U.S. that had large Ukrainian American communities. And they did a lot, as much as they could, to try and instill the culture, the history of Ukraine in us so that we knew a little bit about where they came from. A lot of us were taught Ukrainian as our first languages, especially if our family came from Western Ukraine where that was more common. And they told us all about what they had gone through. My grandparents talked about the struggles they had against Soviet Russia in the 30s, 40s, before they were able to get out. And so they know very well what is going to happen if Putin takes over Ukraine. They've experienced it for centuries, basically. And unfortunately, a lot of Russians are going to, I think, experience it today. You can see the crackdown that's happening there. It's a return to some of the worst Soviet times, and that's what's going to happen in Ukraine as well. As some people have said, it's really hard to just sit here and watch this happen every day, watch the bombs fall on apartment buildings, hospitals, schools. Um, it's hard to believe this is happening in this day and age. And it can feel a little helpless. I guess the only thing I can suggest from my perspective is, as Americans here, we can all write to our senators, our congressmen. I've done that multiple times. It's one of the things that I've found heartening. I've seen polls lately, anywhere from 60 to 80% of Americans now feel like the U.S. should do more to help Ukraine than they're already doing. People see what's happening, and they're just horrified. And so I think everything we're doing here just brings more attention to it, to our representatives. Is hopefully going to help make a little bit more of a difference. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hi, a very short message. We all must understand that this war with Ukraine, it's not just a war against Ukraine. This is the beginning of Putin's war against West in general and against the US particular. And defending Ukraine right now, we defending ourselves. Thank you.